Hey there everyone, welcome to the short Vort for Parsha Shemot. This week's Parsha we learn about the stories of baby Moshe, the beginning of Moshe Rabbeinu's life. And in the beginning of his life there's a medrash that's taught that relates to the Parsha, though it's not in the Torah. I want to make that clear. It's a midrash that when Moshe was a little child and he was in the palace, he was known to be a Hebrew. It was not a secret. They allowed him to live, but they were the Chartumei Mitzrayim. Paro's soothsayers were actually quite concerned about this baby. They said, we have a bad feeling, so we need to check this child out. Maybe he's coming for your crown, Paro. But let's do a test. We're going to put in front of him gold and coals, and if he chooses and reaches for the gold, then we'll know he is coming for your crown, Paro, and we'll kill him right here on the spot. And if he goes for the coals, then we're reassured this child is not worried about taking your crown, Paro, and we can let him live. So they go ahead with this test, and the Medrash says that he reaches for the gold, and right at the last moment, the Malach smacks his hand over, and he ends up touching the coals. And, it's a nice Medrash. That's perhaps an explanation, by the way, why did Paro allow this child to continue to live? Because they felt there was no threat. This child would grow up in the palace. He wasn't going to be a threat. But what is this Medrash really teaching us? And I believe Rabbi Nachum ben Zion Sachs really has an incredible outlook on this. He says, it's really a lesson in life that Moshe needed to learn, but all of us need to learn. That there are choices in life. There's the path that's paved in gold, and then there's the path that's filled with coals. And it seems like we should choose the path that's paved in gold because it's beautiful, it's easy, and it's great. But it's interesting because in Masechet Tamid, we're taught that what should a person do in order to live, to live a life, a long-term life, a meaningful life? And the answer is yamit atzmo. You gotta work hard, almost like kill yourself in this life, not literally like you're working so hard, you're like, I'm working myself to death. When you work hard, ultimately, that's going to be a meaningful life, one that brings meaning to you, and you bring meaning to others, to your community, to your family, to the Jewish people, to the world around us. The path that's paved with gold was going to lead Moshe Rabbeinu to death because it wasn't a life of meaning. It was going to be a life of politics in the kingdom. A life of meaning is where we touch the coals. It sometimes hurts. It sometimes is painful. It's not easy. It's not pretty to look at. But that's when Moshe Rabbeinu learned that lesson. I'm going to do things that are not easy in life. And because he learned that lesson young, he was able to do so much good as the greatest leader of all time. Shabbat Shalom.